Good afternoon, everyone. We are now starting a new chapter for Hong Kong Together Forum. Starts now, so please stand up. We'll sing the national anthem together. Please be seated. First of all, we'd like to invite the photographer to come up to the stage so that we can take a group picture together. Ready? Please look at the photographer of the forum. So please do record this historic moment for all of us. Today we are all very pleased to see so many friends from the election committee and also members of the advisory group, and also there are so many community leaders here with us. So let's all give them a thumbs up. Today's theme is We and Us, starting a new chapter for Hong Kong together. So when I count down 3, 2, 1, let's read that theme together. 3, 2, 1. We and Us, a new chapter together. Yes. All right, thank you. Thank you, photographer. And also thank you very much for attending. Now let's invite the head of the campaign officer from Mr. John Lee. So he'll be chairing the session for us. Over to you, Mr. Tam. Guests of honor, friends, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, on behalf of Mr. John Lee, the candidate for the 6th term of Chief Executive, and also the John Lee Campaign Office, on behalf of all of us, I'd like to thank you all for coming to this forum on We and Us, starting a new chapter for Hong Kong together. Thank you very much for coming. This is a historic gathering. Do we all agree? Because all of you here are members of the election committee returned by the improved electoral system. You have come from different walks of life, different trades, and you're broadly representative. You are the role models of patriots, right? And you're also the pioneers for starting this new chapter for Hong Kong, and also for all of you election committee members. You attach a lot of importance to this election. Some of you have actually returned from overseas and the mainland in order to vote in the election, even though you have been required to undergo quarantine. So you have made this effort to come and vote. So your press shows your commitment to Hong Kong and how you discharge your duties. And your presence here is a great encouragement to your election campaign. On the 29th of April, Mr. John Lee announced his election manifesto. In the process of drafting his political platform, he listened to a lot of views, suggestions. We organized a lot of exchange sessions, and many people from different parties and sectors have given him a lot of good suggestions, and they've also made their requests to him. And we have deliberated and thought about those very carefully, and we have incorporated these views in our political platform. And the political platform has been published now. And I believe that this is very helpful to the work of the new term of the government as well as the work of the chief executive. So we have actually got 6 guests and friends. We have asked them to continue to share with us that given their different backgrounds and different age groups, what are their views. So we'd like them to share their views with us. Because of the anti-epidemic measures, we have to have groups of 4 and 3, and we have got 6 representatives, and they'll be divided into 2 groups. I've actually invited one of the youngest representatives here. So he's a high school student. So is Miss Wong Nga-yu, and we've also got someone who's very knowledgeable in economics. So that's Dr. David Wong. He's a PhD on economics. We have also got an ethnic minority representative, Mr. Lanmas Lankuma. So thank you for coming. So let's sit down and have a chat. Okay. Ms. Wong, the youth are the future of Hong Kong, and Mr. John Lee attaches a lot of importance to youth issues. So I've invited you here so that you can represent your fellow students. What are your views? Because after all, we do have an age gap between us, and therefore we'd very much like to listen to you. What do you think? You are students, so with regard to the future government, what can it do to help you? So over to you, Ms. Wong. All right, I'm from Pui Kyu School, and I'm from S4, and my name is Wong Nga-yu. I'm grateful to Mr. John Lee for attaching so much importance to us. So what is my expectation on the new term of government? Because of the epidemic, we haven't been able to open our borders, and that's why for some time I haven't been able to join any exchange tours in the past. I only managed to join such tours when I was still a primary school student, and because of that, I also was able to experience dormitory life, and I've been in a dormitory for 4 years, and therefore joining such exchange tours is not just to help us to understand the culture on the mainland. That would also enable us to have a new kind of experience. And therefore, I hope that the new term of government will organize such exchange tours so that different age students from different years would be able to join, so that they'll be able to have a better understanding of different cultures, and their horizon can also be broadened. And also, as a student who majors in commerce and so on, so exchange tours would also be very helpful. Hong Kong is an international financial center, and therefore we do need to have a pool of our talents. And therefore, as a student, we are also interested in different trades and different sectors, but then very often we would not be able to have such experience, and therefore such exchange tours would also be a very good experience for us, and many students would be competing for a place in that, and many students would also be interested in joining a particular profession and trade. As Mr. John Lee said in his political platform, well, young people should be able to broaden their horizon, and they should be able to make their choices for their future. And therefore, we'd like to invite more people from different walks, so that there would be commercial collaboration. And then the Education Bureau can also take the lead, so that more opportunities can be offered to students, so that they can have a better understanding about their future careers. And it should not be confined to Hong Kong. We should also go to the Greater Bay Area and different places. For example, Shanghai, which is also an international financial center, so that students would be able to understand the developments in different places, and how Hong Kong can also compete with other financial centers. Other than broaden our world horizon, that would also add to our sense of belonging and sense of national identity. Our competitiveness can also be enhanced. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wong. Ms. Wong would like to have more opportunity to exchange views with and also learn from people from different walks of life. I'm sure that Mr. Lee has heard you, and Thank you very much for your views. Next, I would like to invite Dr. David Wong to share with us. Dr. Wong is a representative of the NPC Standing Committee, and he is also well versed in economics. So especially he is very experienced in the economy of Hong Kong. Whereas we all know that the global economy is now affected by a lot of uncertainties. There are the Russia Ukraine war, and also the pandemic, and also the globalization. Well, under this complex situation, I would like to ask you, what do you think is the future of Hong Kong? Thank you, Mr. Tam. Indeed, recently Hong Kong has been facing a lot of challenges. However, I believe that we have a very solid foundation, which is still very strong, and the most important thing for Hong Kong now is to strive for development. We have to foster economic growth so that we can bring development to Hong Kong. There are, of course, a lot of uncertainties. There are geopolitics issues, but then it actually makes Hong Kong stand out because Hong Kong, after all, is a place where the mainland can connect with the world. Under this new circumstances and new situation, Hong Kong actually can play a vital role in fostering communication between the mainland China and the Western world. And especially with the development of the GBA, Hong Kong has a very crucial role to play. Hong Kong will also is also an important international financial center and also a center for offshore renminbi. And so these are all the strengths of Hong Kong. We also have to stress the development of innovation and technology. I believe that Mr. Lee's platform has already pointed out this point. We have to strive to create Hong Kong as an innovation and technology center. On the other hand, Hong Kong is a place where East meets West. We also provide excellent legal services. So with the support of government policies, I believe that Hong Kong industry can be more diversified and there will be more opportunities for the young people to develop themselves. President Xi Jinping has a very important statement. Well, he said that security should be the premises for development, and development is the safeguard for safety. So we have to continue to develop Hong Kong so that the people of Hong Kong can live and work happily here, and we will then have a stable society. And also in the long run, we will ensure security for Hong Kong. I believe that John is very experienced and well-versed in this area because in the past he has helped Hong Kong to restore order and stability in the past few years. So I'm sure that he will place great importance or equal importance. He will attach equal importance to development and stability. Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Wong. Yes, we are glad to hear that Hong Kong has a lot of development opportunities, and we do not have to worry that Hong Kong will not continue to play a vital role. Actually, we should work together, and with the development of mainland China, Hong Kong will continue to play a vital role. Next, we have a representative from the ethnic minority, Mr. Lakmandas Nyankuma. He has been in Hong Kong for a long time. We'd like to hear his views.
Honorable Mr. John Lee, Honorable C.Y. Leung, distinguished and honored guests, my name is Lakshmandas Nandkumar, but most of my friends and people in Hong Kong know me as Nanu Lakshman. I'm delighted to be celebrating my 50th year in Hong Kong, and am proud to be a Hong Kong Indian. I have known the Honorable John Lee for more than 25 years. From what I know of him, John Lee has always been very disciplined and sincere in whatever he has had to deal with. I particularly appreciate his emphasis on unity, integration, and togetherness, calling on people of different ethnicities in Hong Kong to join hands and start a new chapter with a view of creating a better tomorrow. In his manifesto visions, John Lee has demonstrated he is keen to enhance the city's competitiveness and to address all the important housing and livelihood issues. Moreover, his desire and dedication to help society as a whole to enrich itself and his continued support for the ethnic minorities are all the qualities I personally identify with and commend. His slogan speaks for itself, starting a new chapter together. With our combined efforts, we can and will rebuild hope in Hong Kong. For my own very part, I will continue to be a strong voice of unity, as well as for the care of the underprivileged and those less fortunate. John Lee is no doubt a man who embodies the true values of what one would seek in a chief executive. And I'm confident he will lead Hong Kong back to being Asia's finest city and its most important financial and aviation hub, plus a center for arts and cultural exchange. I congratulate him in advance, wish him all the best as we open this new chapter together. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lachman said that he has been in Hong Kong for 50 years. He is actually a Hong Konger, and he has known John for over 25 years. Actually, he knows John longer than me. Well, from 25 years of exchange, he actually has seen a lot of merits and strengths in Mr. Lee. And he also says that John pays a lot of attention to fostering unity in society, and he actually likes the slogan of "We're now starting a new chapter for Hong Kong together." Once again, we would like to thank the three guests for sharing with us their views. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to invite another three guests to come up onto the stage to share with us. Mr. Tan King Shing, former police commissioner, member of CPPCC. And next is athlete from Hong Kong, Ms. Du Hai Kam. I'm sure that a lot of you know her very well. And last but not the least, we also have Dr. Lo Chung Mao, a medical doctor. Please be seated. Mr. Shing, you also you have worked with John for many years in the past. Can you perhaps tell us a bit about what you know of Mr. Lee, and also in his political platform? John mentions that he wants to create a effective and efficient and committed civil service. Well, you have been a civil servant for a long time. How do you think this can be achieved? Can you share your views with us? Thank you, Mr. Tam. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I've worked with John in the police force for many years in the past. We had been the director at the directorate rank with John for many years. As a team, we work together to maintain law and order in Hong Kong and to ensure that Hong Kong would continue to become one of the safest cities in the world. I'm sure you understand that the work of the police force is complex, and we pay a lot of attention to teamwork. As one of the members of the police force, John had actually showed that he has great commitment, he has his own view, he has strong analytical power, and the plan that he has come up with were very comprehensive and detailed.
On communicative or communication skills, he has been very articulate, both internally and externally. He had attached great importance to that, and he was very concerned about the team, and he would also pay attention to the overall interests of the community. So all in all, he's a very committed, and he attaches a lot of importance to team spirit, and he also has the leadership in resolving problems. Just now, Mr. Tam also referred to the civil service. I noticed that in his political platform, he emphasized the importance of building a dedicated and efficient civil service. In this regard, I fully share his views, because whether or not the administration is able to have good governance would have a lot to do with the role played by the civil service. The civil service plays a critical role in that. As we all know, Hong Kong has a very large civil service, and for individual civil servants, they work in their own respective areas. They have their own systems and their work procedures in order to provide service to the community. And I believe that we all understand that. But then the administration must be able to move with time, so that we'd be able to change with time, so that everything will have to evolve with time. So both the hardware and software of the civil service will have to be updated. And that means that the civil service will have to improve their efficiency, or else the civil service will not be able to move with time and adapt to the changes. And if they adopt a very straitjacket approach, and if they are bound by past procedures and so on, they would not be able to serve the community effectively. But then when it comes to changing procedures and so on, it's not enough to just do that. And therefore, in the political platform of Mr. John Lee, he said that we have to have a dedicated and consistent civil service. We have to nurture a culture of serving the community, so that we'll be able to ensure that the civil service will be able to discharge the duties effectively and efficiently. And that would also be acceptable to the community. Or else they will just be working in their own areas. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tang. Thank you for analyzing the situation of the civil service with us and how we can help them become a remarkable team that can serve the community, that is efficient and effective. Next, I'd like to invite our athlete, Ms. Du Hai Kem, because back in 2021, Hong Kong athletes managed to get very outstanding results at the Tokyo Olympics. We managed to win 6 gold medals, which is a historical achievement. And their can-do spirit has encouraged a lot of young people in Hong Kong, and that is what we need in Hong Kong. And Du Hai Kem was one of them, and therefore we'd like to listen to her story, how she managed to work hard and achieve and accomplish her current status. So over to you, Ms. Du. Well, good afternoon. I'm a ping pong or table tennis player, and last year we broke history by winning 6 gold medals, and that's the dreams of many young people. And together with my teammates, we worked together, and we managed to win some of these medals. And I've been very fortunate because I've been able to go back to the mainland to get my training. And before the Tokyo Olympics, I also underwent 6 months special training on the mainland that not only broadened my horizon, I could also feel that our state love athletes in Hong Kong, because success cannot just rely on one individual's hard work, and therefore during our training, we had the coaches and also Hong Kong Table Tennis Association and also the Hong Kong administration as well as the state's support. So it's like what Mr. John Lee said, it's we and us, so that every individual can contribute his part, and therefore we will be able to achieve together. So it's not at the end of the story, it's the beginning for all of us. So it's like Hong Kong, we are starting a new chapter together. I believe that young people would need opportunities. They would have to be encouraged before they can gain confidence. And therefore, I wholeheartedly hope that under the leadership of Mr. John Lee, Hong Kong young people would be able to exchange their views with mainland young people so that we can use sports as the common language, and we can also turn it into our career. We can grow together. We can learn together. So in a contest or in a match, yes, we might face a lot of challenges and difficulties, but then for a strong leader, we would not be afraid of that. And therefore, it's like Hong Kong. I hope that the new government will unite us all so that we wholeheartedly love the city, so that we can work together, and then we'll be able to ride the storms together, and then we'll be able to enjoy the success afterwards together. All right, she's not just good at playing table tennis, and she has been able to be very articulate, and she has made a remarkable speech. Next, we have Dr. Lo Chung Mao. Dr. Lo has worked in both the Hong Kong U as well as the Shenzhen Hong Kong U hospital. So he has been working in both places, and therefore he understands very well the special characteristics and also advantages of the healthcare system in both places. Well, this time, in Mr. John Lee's political platform, emphasis has been placed on enhancing our healthcare system. So, Dr. Lo, can you share with us what's your view on this? What should be done by Mr. John Lee? Thank you. Mr. John Lee, the CE hopeful, said in his political platform that we have to adopt a result-oriented approach. We have to work as a team, and we also have to make use of reforms in order to promote the 4 core policies in his political platform so that Hong Kong can start a new chapter together. So as a professional, I would of course attach importance to Chapter 4 of his political platform. That's about enhancing our healthcare system. Well, in many regards, with regard to the hospital authority services and also the smart healthcare system, and also primary healthcare, and also healthy lifestyle, and also preventive care, and also screening, and also public-private sector collaboration, and even Chinese and Western medicine collaboration, and so on. He has covered all those. So we're not just aiming at increasing the quantity. We would also have to increase the efficiency and effectiveness. Health is what we all pursue. And our country has also implemented the strategy of Healthy China. On the mainland, we have often heard people say, well, many people have quoted what our state leader has said, that is, health should be one of the key indicators for a healthy country. And also, well, if you don't have health, then everything else would be of secondary importance. So will you be able to have fulfillment in life? That would have a lot to do with health, because only when you have health, all the other things will be meaningful to you. With the onset of the epidemic, we understand that there are shortfalls in our healthcare system. But once we understand that, we'll be able to promote reforms. And only with reforms will we be able to enhance our system. And therefore, Mr. Lee, if you look at his political platform, and there are policies to enhance our healthcare system, there are practical measures. But then what about the direction and also the details? That would require a lot of discussion and deliberation in order to take that forward. In this regard, I would expect that within the healthcare sector, we will have to look after the overall interest. We would also have to look after the well-being and interest of our profession. We would also have to take care of the patient's interest. We have to hold the spirit of change, so that for people who are sick, they would be given proper treatment. We would also have to ensure that we would be tapping into the advantage of our unique status, because we do have the support of the country, and we also have our own advantages, and therefore we will have to do what we can in order to serve our country and our community, so that we'll be able to bring our healthcare system into the GBA, the Greater Bay Area, so that we'll be able to play a leading role, and we would be pioneers, and in doing that, we would also be able to start a new chapter for Hong Kong.
Thank you, Dr. Low, and thank you all three of you for sharing with us. Well, after listening to the sharing of 6 guest speakers altogether, I really feel very deeply and profoundly. And that is the political platform of John. It does not belong only to himself. It's actually the wishes of all of us here, and actually for all the people of Hong Kong. Let's work together towards this goal, shall we? Thank you. And that is why John's slogan is "We and Us together." That means we will join hands together to start a new chapter for Hong Kong. Well, that is the end of this session. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Tam, and all the 6 guest speakers for sharing with us. Next, we would like to invite the Deputy Chairman of CPPCC, Mr. Leung Chun-ying, to share with us. Mr. Leung, please. Mr. John Lee, members of the Election Committee, good afternoon. I'm very pleased to attend this forum together with over 1,000 Election Committee members. To attend this forum on We and Us, starting a new chapter for Hong Kong together. Election of the chief executive is the most important activity of the political activities in Hong Kong, because the chief executive is not only the leader of Hong Kong SAR, but also not only the leader of the government, but also the leader of the entire Hong Kong. So the election of the CE is of utmost importance. Well, the CE is not only responsible for Hong Kong, but also for the Central People's Government of China. This is something that we have to bear in mind. And these are actually all set out in the Hong Kong Basic Law. The political structure of Hong Kong SAR is a kind of executive-led structure. We also have to be aware of this point. Vis-à-vis the legislature of Hong Kong, I think this characteristic is represented in Article 64 of the Hong Kong Basic Law. The Hong Kong SAR government must abide by the law and be responsible to the Hong Kong SAR and its legislature. It has to implement the legislation of Hong Kong SAR. It has to make policy report to the Hong Kong legislature, and also answer the questions raised by legislative members. Funding requests have to be approved by the legislature. Regarding the returning of the CE, Article 45 of the Basic Law sets out that the CE will be returned either by election or appointment. It will be appointed by the Central People's Government. This is also important that we have to be aware of. Article 3, Clause 4 of the Basic Law also has similar stipulation. That is, the CE will be returned either by election or consultation. He or she will also be appointed by the Central People's Government. Let me repeat these in English.
3(4) of the Sino-British Joint Declaration had the following provision, I quote, "The Chief Executive will be appointed by the Central People's Government on the basis of the results of elections or consultations to be held locally," unquote. 基本法嘅第45條亦都
Article 45 also sets out that the returning of the CE will be according to the practical situation of Hong Kong, and also in a gradual manner. On 11th of March 2021, the returning method of the CE was set out, and that is there is an enlargement of the election committee. And ladies and gentlemen present today in this forum are representing different sectors of society. So all the above that I've mentioned are the constitutional foundation for the chief executive election in coming Sunday. We have to, according to the stipulation of the Basic Law, fulfill our role as members of the election committee. And we understand that the country is facing great development. Hong Kong is part of China, and as an international and open city, we do have lots of opportunities, but at the same time, lots of challenges. We have our strengths, but also weaknesses at the same time. And that is why the entire society of Hong Kong needs to unite together. We should join hands and work together towards promoting Hong Kong's development. We have to take interest of the overall picture of the entire interest of Hong Kong. We have to work together and sacrifice our own interests in order to contribute to the bigger interests of the society and of the country. I am very confident in the future of Hong Kong. I believe that under the leadership and support of the Central People's Government, the new government of Hong Kong SAR can work according to Hong Kong Basic Law and will also lead Hong Kong and to further develop and also to contribute to the development of the country. President Xi Jinping points out the role to be played for Hong Kong, the four important wishes for Hong Kong. That is, Hong Kong should integrate actively into the development of the country. It should also participate in the implementation of the different plans of the development of the country. It should also foster the promotion of cultural development and also the linkage with the overseas countries as well. So thank you in advance for your support in the CE election in coming Sunday. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. C.Y. Leung. Well, at this point, I'm sure that you're all looking forward to saying hello to Mr. John Lee, our CE candidate. All right, so before inviting Mr. Lee to come onto the stage, I would like to invite you to take out your mobile phone and then switch on the flashlight of your phone, so that we can wave our mobile phone to welcome Mr. John Lee onto the stage.
好熱鬧啊！真係，我哋一齊以最
Let's also put our hands together to welcome Mr. John Lee, candidate of the CE election. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Members of the election committee, members of the public of Hong Kong, time flies. And there's only 2 days before the election of the 6th chief executive of Hong Kong. In the less than a month time, in the previous month, my team and myself have visited different places and talked with different people from different walks of life, including members of the election committee, different organizations and associations. We've also been to different districts in Hong Kong. Through online and offline platform, we have exchanged views with different representatives as well as members of the public. With further easing of the social distancing measures, I'm very glad that today we're able to have all of you here, the members of the election committee, advisory committee, and also members of the presidium, as well as representatives of the various districts in Hong Kong, to come together. And thank you very much for giving me this chance to meet with you all here and to once again introduce to you my political platform.
I'm truly grateful to all of you for your attendance. During the past 40 plus years, well, I worked initially as a frontline police officer, and now I'm a CE candidate, so I have had different experiences. All these experiences have affected my life. I could still recall when I was still small, my father saved some money for a long time, and eventually he managed to buy a TV set. At the time, well, owning a TV set was not something easy. Generally speaking, if you manage to have a radio set, it's already quite good. So we were very pleased. So every time after dinner, we would just gather together in front of the TV set, and then we would just watch TV together. And we felt very warm. And of course, the housing estate that we lived in was rather small, and therefore space was limited, and therefore our TV set was facing the front door. And then during summer, we would open the wooden door, and then we would just close the iron gate, so we would be able to enjoy the wind breeze. But then very often, without our knowing, our neighbors outside the iron grill would gather together, and then they just watch TV together outside the iron grill. And then we decided to turn up the volume of the TV, so that for those neighbors watching outside, they would also be able to hear it. And then subsequently, we decided that when popular shows were broadcast, we would just invite them in so that they can enjoy the programs together with us. And everybody had a very good time watching TV together. So that impressed me. Well, this is what we call neighborhoodliness. So it's so simple and easy, so direct and so true and real. So long as we can work together, we'll be able to make it happen, and we'll be able to feel the warmth of it. So when I was studying, very often I would go to a slope near my housing estate to play. Sometimes I'd play with some of my neighbors. On one occasion, on the slope, we were robbed. In fact, those who robbed us were just a few years older than us, and they were also fellow students. But then one managed to have an army knife, and it's about 4-inch long. At the time, I didn't have any money with me, and therefore I received a few fists from that guy. I was not seriously injured, but then I could feel it. So I felt helplessness because I was very angry, and yet I could do nothing about it. And therefore, the first job that I applied for was a police officer, because I like to protect the public, and I like to protect those disadvantaged, those who are less fortunate than we do. So in my political platform, I said that we'd like to build a safe and stable environment so that you don't have to worry about anything else, so that we'd be able to fully develop our potential. And I've also said that we will have to build a caring community so that the aged can age in place, and they will be able to stay in a safe community. And as a government, we will have to adopt this result-oriented approach, so that when we work, we have to follow the procedures, and yet at the same time, we have to make sure that we can achieve the result that we desire. So I'll be bringing to the government, or I'll be bringing to the community, this pragmatic government. So I propose that we should adopt a team spirit. That is, we have to have this we and us culture, so that we can solve the problems together. So there is no distinction between you and me, so that we work together and there will be synergy, and we'll be able to achieve a situation whereby 1 + 1 is bigger than 2. So all departments will be proactive in interfering. So both me and my team will start early, will interfere early, and we will give instructions and directions at an early stage. And for designated projects, I'll set a target, and there'll be key performance indicators so that we'll be able to measure against the indicators. And if you look at my political platform, there are 4 tenets. One is to strengthen our governance capability. Second, when it comes to housing and land supply, we have to streamline procedures, and we have to adopt a multi-pronged approach. And we will have to enhance the speed, the quality, and efficiency. Thirdly, we will have to enhance our overall competitiveness so that we will have room to pursue sustainable development. Fourthly, we also have to build a caring and inclusive society. We will attach importance to youth development. I'll promote the spirit of reform, and we will enhance governance efficiency so that we will enhance our implementation and governance capability. I fully understand that people's well-being is what the government should be most concerned about, and therefore we will have to take care of the disadvantaged groups in the community. We have to provide good healthcare services. We have to take care of both the mental and physical health of the public. And I would come up with a roadmap for youth development so that they'll be able to develop in a diversified manner, and there'll be upward mobility opportunities for them. This year is the 25th anniversary of our return to our motherland. This is a historical moment for Hong Kong's history. During the past 25 years, 1 country, 2 systems, Hong Kong people ruling Hong Kong, and a high degree of autonomy. These are principles that have been successfully implemented in Hong Kong. And as a result, we have been able to get the best safeguards for Hong Kong's long-term stability and prosperity. Looking back, Hong Kong has been able to gather together a lot of experience, and we should learn from the past, and there are also deep-rooted problems which we will have to work very hard in order to resolve them. If I'm elected, I will bring to you a government that can work and be able to achieve. We will also uphold the constitutional order under the Constitution and also the Basic Law. We will uphold the core values of Hong Kong. We will have a clean government, and we will maintain that foundation. We will create a stable environment for development so as to enhance Hong Kong's overall competitiveness, so that Hong Kong will be able to take this big step forward, and there is nothing to worry about. Wisdom is in the community, and therefore my philosophy of running the government is that we would not be relying on 1 or 2 individuals. We should not be relying on the government alone to work. So I'll be gathered together the entire community so that we will work as a team in order to solve the problems together. With a lot of changes in the world, and international relations are very complex, and therefore Hong Kong will have to seize the opportunity. We cannot afford to wait. We cannot afford to be late. And therefore we will have to consolidate Hong Kong as an international metropolis so as to develop Hong Kong's potential as a free and open society so that we can connect the mainland and the world. We should also take a proactive approach in integrating into our national plans so that we'll be able to tap into our own advantages so as to strive for the best interests of Hong Kong. What is before us in the next 5 years is that I'll be building Hong Kong together with you, and it will be a caring and inclusive society which is diversified, which is vibrant and energetic, and it's full of hope. Today, we are all here together, and we will be doing one thing together. That is to support the election held on the 8th of May. Is the CE election, and on the 8th of May, and if I'm elected, I, together with the public of Hong Kong, will work together for one thing. That is, we will start a new chapter for Hong Kong together. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. John Lee. Mr. Lee, please stay behind. We and us, a new chapter together for Hong Kong. We are moving towards the end. So I'd like to invite Mr. Tam Yu Chung, head of the campaign office of Mr. John Lee, so we can take a group picture together with Mr. John Lee.
As Mr. Lee has just mentioned, we look forward to a strong government with team spirit and also with strong implementation capability. And Hong Kong will also become an inclusive society which is diversified and full of hopes. We're really very happy today because we see the members of the election committee present here today. You are all returned after the enhancement of the electoral system of Hong Kong, and you represent different sectors and all walks of life in Hong Kong. And you're also pioneers of our movement of starting a new chapter for Hong Kong. We hope that we will be working together with Mr. John Lee to start a new chapter for Hong Kong together. This is really a great chance. Shall we perhaps repeat the slogan in order to express our feelings? Let me start first, and you will follow after me, okay? Please listen carefully. Support Mr. John Lee. We and us, starting a new chapter for Hong Kong together. Let's do it again, one more time. Support Mr. John Lee. We and us, starting a new chapter for Hong Kong together. How about one more time? Support John Lee. We and us, starting a new chapter for Hong Kong together. See you all on the 8th of May. Thank you very much. Thank you for attending the forum today. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. John Lee. Thank you, Mr. Tam, and also members of the advisory committee, and also staff of the campaign office. Once again, thank you very much for your support. Okay, and on the 8th of May, it will be the election for the 6th Chief Executive of Hong Kong SAR. We'll see you then on the 8th of May. Support Mr. John Lee. Thank you very much. Thank you.